Uh-oh. Oh yeah, Black Sun in the hizzle. Oh, for shizzle dizzle. I hope my mic is good. It's early in the morning. Got to respond to MD though, man. Good video, MD. Um, this is why I need to do videos more often, and I need to do videos more often with MD because not only does Venkat have a misunderstanding of where I stand on things, but MD said that I thought that Iran was insignificant. No, MD, I don't know where you got that from. Iran is very significant, and like you were saying in the video, it's major. It's major. And not only let's leave aside because like you said, I got a gimmick for Russia and China. Let's leave Russia and China aside. Let's leave that aside. I am responding to the simple fact that when we have a conflict with the Islamic world, we not doing so well. We didn't do well against the Houthis. We didn't do well in Afghanistan. We and Israel got pounded for 12 days. We not looking so good. So from a military strategy, MD, I'm saying no. And you and Venkat could take this to the bank. Now, well, that's a whole nother thing. That's more domestic. The Republicans will take the Senate, but I'm not even here for that. With the midterms, I don't, I'm gonna give y'all a secret on MD. I want you to pay attention, and Venkat, I want you to pay attention. Trump's Achilles heel is starting a new war, whether it be with goddamn. Well, first of all, he needs to end the war in Russia because there's no way you're defeating Russia. But we already know where I stand with that. Good morning, Fox. What's going on? What's going on? How's my mic, Fox? How's my mic? How's my mic? How's my mic? Yeah, this morning it rained last night, so it's a crazy morning for me. It's a crazy morning for me. That's all I can say. And the truck, it's a long story, but anywho, I wanted to respond to MD. Mike is on. Okay, good, good. Yeah, I hope MD comes in here. He's probably asleep right now. Um, MD said that I thought it was. I'm paraphrasing that. I thought this was insignificant. You ain't never heard me talk about any war conflict being insignificant, and this is why I do international. Now, I said, I think MD misunderstands. When I say insignificant, MD, pay attention. When you talk about economics without talking about Africa, that's insignificant. Let me say that again. If you talk about economics without talking about Africa, economics is insignificant because you cannot move without Africa. That's number one, but we'll save that for another show. That's why I don't want to talk about politics. Every time you talk about politics, I'm sorry, talk about economics and don't mention Africa, it's kind of a minute point. You got to include Ibrahim Traore in that conversation. But let's get back to Lindsey Graham. Now, um, as far as I know, MD, MAGA don't want to go to war. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is why she stepped down. She talked about this, MD, and the MAGA core is still don't want to go to war. They're still America first. Nothing's changed, MD. I don't understand, and we don't like Liberace Graham. We don't like Liberace Graham. He getting on there crying and boohooing, snot coming out his nose, talking about we got to go to war with somebody. Oh my God, we got to go to war with somebody. You know, and we know he's a bitch to Israel, but I'm not going to get on Israel right now. Um, Israel got pounded in the 12-day war. We got pounded in Afghanistan, and we got pounded by the Houthis. So, and we didn't do so good with Hamas. So again, if you want to talk about Trump, and I keep telling y'all, Trump's Achilles heel is really this Ukraine Russia situation because it's simple. You can't defeat Russia. You can't defeat Russia. Can we defeat Russia, Fox, on their land? It's a simple yes or no. Can we defeat Russia after looking at what Hitler did and what goddamn Napoleon did? Can we defeat Russia on their land? I don't think so. But let's get back to the Iran situation. Iran is a similar. Like, again, we're not doing so well. If we didn't do well against the Houthis and Hamas and Afghanistan, it's not looking so good. Us going in the Middle East. Okay, let's see. No, because it isn't about Russia. It's about the damn cold. We, one thing that Russia has in common with Iran, Fox, and I'll explain this to MD because MD and Venkat, they want to see Russia and they want to see Trump impeached so bad. They were like, oh, and he's gonna lose in the midterm. He ain't gonna lose the Senate in the midterms. I guarantee you that he's not losing the Senate. Congress, I don't know, but that's a topic for another day. Let's get back on. Let's get back on Iran. When did I'll ask you a question, Fox? When did Iran threaten us? When did Iran threaten to invade North Georgia, where you live? It's a simple question. Because as far as I remember, we allow Liberace Graham and those neocons to talk about a regime change over in their region. And this is Trump's Achilles heel, man. This wanting to play the police. But this is not only Trump's Achilles heel, this is America policy, where the Democrat or Republicans, this is American policy Achilles heel. And this is where we're going to lose every time. I call it the Vietnam curse. We're going to lose every single time because of the situation of us going into somebody else's region is not good. It is not good for our health. Let me say it again. Us going into somebody else's region is not good for our health. And usually the results are catastrophic. Just look at Afghanistan. Just look at the Houthis. Um, my brothers in arms, these proud patriots, they give amnesia when you talk about the Houthis or Afghanistan. The Afghanistan pullout was the most horrible pullout, and this is why Biden will always be the worst president of all time because of his pullouts, because of his pullout in Afghanistan. But again, our track record is not good. Leave those people alone. Trump is surrounding himself with neocons, talking about regime change, regime change. You got all these neocons talking about regime change. Leave them people alone. It's not a good situation. This is Trump's Achilles heel, allowing the the deep state to talk him into conflicts abroad. Is a bad move. Okay, so if anything, but this won't even not only looks bad on Trump's resume, it looks bad on America's resume. So if they, let's just say, I don't know, Gavin Newsom becomes president, it's going to be the same thing with the Democrats. But that's not going to happen. J.D. Vance is going to win. But what I'm saying is that whether it be Democrat or Republican, this whole regime change, this deep state, where they don't care who's in office. They don't care if it's Democrat or Republican or MAGA or whoever, the neolibs, neocons, they don't care. They be wanting this regime change. And this regime change has not been good for America. It's not good for our troops. It's not good for our health. And none of these conflicts has anybody threatened to invade the USA. This is what I think this is the main thing people always misunderstand is that nobody is threatening to invade the United States of America. Now, one might talk about our interests, about, because MD did mention the oil and all that. We need to learn how to operate in what do they call it? We just need to learn how to operate, man, with BRICS and other nations and stop being so hegemonic. with our policies. We need to stop being so hegemonic with our policies because it is not good. Again, the Houthis have proved that. The Houthis have proven that. Afghanistan has proven that. So it's really not. And again, Iran is a very large country and a very well equipped country. And us bombing Iran is not going to change any regime. Um, it's just not good. It's not good. So that's my take, MD. That's my take. I hope this answers your question as far as like my thoughts on Iran. I think it's a bad move on Trump, bad move on America, bad move to attack these people. And then you say Lindsey Graham talk about attacking our only allies in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. I'm just like, wow, I don't know, because that whole royal family, you got Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, and the United Arab Emirates. Those are allegedly our allies, and if we don't have them, we don't have nothing, because we darn sure can't have Israel by themselves hold down the whole Middle East. They will get bombed. They will be turned into a parking lot. Israel, Iran proved that last time. And we want to go back round two with Iran after they pounded the hell out of Israel. That's my take on it. It's really I mean, again, MD, I'm gonna make this official because I guess I never really spoke on it. Iran, us attacking Iran is a bad move. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's bad. Attacking those people on their land. That is their land. That belongs to Allah and their people. Or well, I ain't gonna even say Allah because Islam came late to Persia. But what I'm saying is that belongs to them. They be Persians or Arabs, whatever them people are, that belongs to them. That is their land. That is the whole what they call that, that whole Middle East region, the Lamont, they call that the Lamont and all that, man. Leave them alone, man. I understand there's oil over there and all that. What about the oil? Man, it's not worth um, us going over there and turning into another Iraq, turning into another Afghanistan, turning into another situation with the Houthis. Our scoreboard is not so great. I go by history. I go by history, and again, Iran is well equipped. They got the backing of China and Russia, and again, I don't even have to bring China into the Russia into the mix. I could just talk about the Houthis in Afghanistan and how we not doing so well over there in the Middle East. You know, but you might say, well, Black Sun, but the oil, this and that. Again, Trump said we were supposed to drill here in the U.S. This is why I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump because he said he was going to drill here in the U.S. Drill, baby, drill. Everybody, the what you call the MAGA. Hey, um, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna call. Okay, okay, I'll go to Rockdale. Yeah, I'm Rockdale. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Oh man, Rockdale, they're not started yet. Okay, y'all. I'm in. There's two job sites, and the other job site starting earlier. The job site I'm doing, they're not started yet. Okay, so, but yeah, basically to answer your question, MD, it's very. I mean, the Iran situation is simple. Let's not go to war with them. My philosophy is don't attack people on their land. That's my philosophy. So here from here going out, if you're uncertain about where I stand on any conflict, if they're not threatening us, then it's not a good idea. Now again, threatening us, attacking us, and attacking our alleged interests are two different things. Again, because I know you're arguing to be oil and all that. Well, we need oil, and Trump said, he said he would drill here, and we done obviously in this hemisphere we done goddamn kidnapped the damn president. But I think That's a whole other topic. I'm not even going to get into the whole Maduro as of right now. What I'm saying is that in Afghanistan, no, we don't need to start no war with Iran. Now they got ship carriers and all that. I think Trump's going to do a bunch of bombing and this and that. It's not going to it's not going to change any regime. There's not going to be any regime change. So I hope I hope this video is satisfactory to your liking there, MD. Um, I hate that you created a straw man saying I didn't think that it wasn't important. No, I think warfare is always important. It's always numero uno because we risk sending our boys and girls over to a region that they're not familiar with, and when we do that, there's always a disadvantage, especially when it's not here in the U.S. Okay, whether it be the Middle East, Russia, whether it be goddamn China, wherever in the world, if we have to go out, we're at a disadvantage. And again, our record is not good. Just look at the Houthis. Fox, did we get spanked by the Houthis? A lot of people don't know this, Fox. Did we get spanked by the Houthis? Because if you're watching, I talked to a guy last night. He said, "Do you watch NSNBC?" I said, "No." NBC, no. He's a veteran too, man. He's a veteran. I was just like, man, this is sad that my veterans are subjugated to fake news media like CNN, NBC, CBS, whatever, all the ABC, all that fake shit. Oh, it's terrible, you know. But I keep referring people to Colonel Daniel Davis, Colonel Douglas McGregor. They're all here on YouTube. But people are so programmed. Oh, it's not mainstream media. I don't know. That's a whole other topic. I'm not gonna get into that. I gotta stay focused and address MD. MD, please understand. My philosophy is simple. When it comes to warfare and strategy, going to somebody else's region is a disadvantage for us. It's a disadvantage for us, and we live off. Well, you live off of mythological, this myth that we defeated Adolf Hitler. We contributed, but again, Stalin defeated Hitler. Once you understand Stalin defeated Hitler, then you understand World War II in the proper perspective. England, France, and America, we contributed, but no, the bulk of the war was won by Stalin. Stalin defeated Hitler. Once you learn that proper perspective, then warfare becomes very clear. It becomes very clear, and this is why we lost in Vietnam, we lost in Afghanistan. This is why America has been losing, but we cover it up. And the only victory we keep going on is World War II. And again, World War II was only partially a quarter of our victory. The Allies as a whole won World War II. America is part of that, but not the whole. Well, the majority of it, again, we were taught the propaganda that we only won a quarter of it. We were a quarter of it. We were on the back end. The front end was Barbarossa and Hitler and Stalin. That front line, that cold, that was the majority of the war in parts of Africa. The Normandy was the back end, Fox. That's what we're not taught in school. Here in America, they don't teach that. They teach that American Normandy was the front line. No, well, for us it was the front line, but that was not the majority of the war. The bulk of the war was the cold, was the Russia-Germany conflict. That was the bulk of the war, and that was the bulk of where Hitler lost all of his people. If it was just uh, if it was just us, if Russia wasn't in that war, that would have been a prolonged war, and eventually, goddamn, Hitler would have bombed the shit out of England. He bombed the shit out of England, but again, we took advantage of Hitler shifting all his soldiers over to the cold front. But again, in order to learn that proper history, well, you have to learn world history instead of U.S. history. You got U.S. history and then you got world history. And a lot of Americans, we lean on U.S. history, and some of us, we skip world history. But if you learn world history, that was Stalin's war. If you just learn U.S. history, oh, we defeated Hitler. But they never explain, well, who marched on Berlin and who planted up the flag on Berlin. In fact, I'll ask you that: who planted the flag on Berlin? But it was the last part of it. We weren't there the whole time. No, we not only there the whole time, but we didn't march on Berlin either. We didn't march on Berlin. Stalin marched on Berlin with Chukov. Chukov. Chukov was one of the generals. So again, yeah, we again you got American, you got U.S. history, and you got world history. And to learn the proper context, you got to learn world history. And it's funny because France and England lean towards U.S. history, and this is why they confirm our bias when we're teaching history. We pull from England and France to confirm our bias. But no, when you learn world history, when you learn Chinese history, Russian history, when you learn world history, just like that's why I said news media, you got to get your information from the world, not just from U.S. media. U.S. media is just like World War II. It's tied to it's tied to just U.S. and France. Like Europe and America live in a bubble. They live in a bubble. They've always lived in a bubble since World War II all the way up to now. So um, they live in a bubble. And so living in this bubble doesn't allow us to see outside of like, yeah, like let me give you an example. I'm not saying this is you, Fox. The people in the bubble believe that Ukraine is defeating Russia. But as long as you live in that bubble, you'll believe that nonsense, that propaganda. But again, um, and in that bubble, here in the U.S., here in the colleges, here in the junior colleges, high schools, they teach that we defeated Hitler, and they don't tell the whole story. Oh, we defeated Hitler. Yeah, we did our little part. We did our little part in World War II. It's very little, very little. And we came in on the back end. They teach that Normandy was the front end. Normandy was the back door. The Eastern Front was the front door. That wasn't, no, we were the back door. But they teach that we were the front door and Russia was the back door. They teach that shit in reverse, man. We weren't, no, we were the back door. That's the difference. We were the back door. You know, we weren't the front door. We were the back door. We were the back door. We came. Normandy was the back door. The Russian front was the front door. But see, and then when you know when they tell a half truth. Oh, we defeated Hitler. We played a very insignificant small part in that. So again, very small part in that. Very small part in that. You know. Again, to prove my point, just who planted the flag on Berlin? Who caused Hitler to goddamn suicide himself in 1945? Like, who planted the flag? Who marched in on Berlin? Who damn invaded Berlin? Even our teaching history will again. Well, I don't even. It doesn't. That's why I said world history and U.S. history, they almost contradict each other. But again, all you got to do is look on the internet and who marched on Berlin. It was Zhukov. Zhukov planted the flag on Berlin, and that's when caused Hitler's whole panic. It wasn't Normandy; it was the Russian front. The Russian front caused Hitler to goddamn break down. And every time in his speech, he never mentioned FDR. He mentioned Stalin. He always, if you look at Hitler's, All his speeches, Stalin. He's all, Stalin, Stalin. Look at goddamn, or every book that you read, he's always complaining to his generals about Stalin. Don't get on Stalin. Stalin. It was never Churchill or FDR. Churchill and FDR rarely came out. It was always Stalin. 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 It was because Stalin was whipping his ass. Watch any World War II movie with Hitler now. And his generals, when his general in the around the stable in the bunker, he was talking about Stalin, sending forces over to Stalin. Stalin, Stalin. So no, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. A lot of people in America are. We've been force fed U.S. history. We've been force fed U.S. history. But again, when you learn world history, but not only apply world history, but apply that same mechanic to the media. That's why when MD, shout out to MD, when he be like, oh, I got references. I got political, European, oh, NBC, American, all that Western shit is a bubble. You got to have world references, worldwide references. So again, answering MD's question, how do I feel about that? I don't know why he thought I would think Iran is insignificant. No, Iran is not insignificant. That's like me saying that the Houthis were us getting our ass kicked by the Houthis was insignificant. No, it's not. But most American people, I think the Houthis in Afghanistan are insignificant, MD. I think that's where you get that from. That's not me. Because I think every move we make in that 12-day war that Israel got their ass kicked was not insignificant. So again, I don't know. But again, you watching the mainstream media, MD, you get fed that fake news and you think that all Americans think like that. You think all MAGA thinks like that. And I can understand that. I don't think like that, MD. But no, there's nothing insignificant about Iran. Just because you don't hear me talk about it, again, when I talk about it, I think it makes people mad because when you speak on the Middle East, you got to speak about our ass whoopings. It takes away from the propaganda that, oh, America is so great and, oh, America, we got our asses kicked. This is why I keep telling people, not you, MD, well, yeah, you and other people, I keep telling people, I believe people are smart, but people are not prepared for the conversations. Because MD's smart, everybody's smart, but being prepared for the conversation. Again, I never said it was insignificant, MD. So please, please, I hope we can do a show later and we can explain. I think I cleared it up though. That Iran situation is very significant, and if we think we're gonna put a pounding on Iran and make them submit and have regime change is not going to happen in Iran. I think we're going to lose a lot of people over there if we go to war with Iran, unless I think what Trump wants to do. Trump's idea is not to put boots on the ground. That's the neocons' idea, but I don't think that's Trump. Liberace Graham wants to put boots on the ground. Trump just wants to bomb people. He wants to bomb people and call them up. Are you ready to make a deal? This is Trump. This is Trump 101. Are you ready to make a deal? No. Okay, bomb them. Boom, 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 boom. Are you ready to make a deal? That's Trump's tactic. Trump's tactic. This is not the neocons. This is Trump. Trump is bomb them, call them. You ready to make a deal? No, you're not. Okay, bomb them again. Are you ready to make a deal? That's Trump. I don't think Trump wants to put boots on the ground. Lindsey Graham and all them, they want boots on the ground. I don't think Trump wants boots on the ground. I think Trump just wants to bomb shit out of people and then call them up. Are you ready to make a deal? Are you ready to make a deal? I'm gonna tell you, like let's look at Venezuela. Venezuela paid people, Trump paid people to look the other way. How you doing? And then he paid people to look the other way. Then they went in and took Maduro. Like I said, the Maduro situation's a whole nother thing because of the whole 2020 election. So that's tied in with that. That deserves its own show. However, again, Trump's tactic is to bomb people. I'm gonna say this. The neocons and everybody, Lindsey Graham, they want boots on the ground. Trump don't want boots on the ground. Trump want to bomb people, then call them up. Hey, you ready to make a deal? That's his thing. Bomb them. Are you ready to make a deal? Bomb them. Are you ready to make a deal? That's Trump's tactic. The neocons, the Democrats, the deep state, they want boots on the ground. But Trump, I guess, tries to appease them and say, okay, I'm going to bomb them. So I stand on that. Um, Bombing Iran without boots on the ground, uh, boots on the ground will lose. Boots on the ground will lose. But Trump bombing like he did last time, that's a different situation. So that's another conversation for another day, I guess. So with that being said, hey, I'm about to get started, get loaded. So let me get off of here. But yeah, MD, I hope, yeah, leave a comment, man. I hope that answered your question. Now, am I against Trump bombing? That's Trump's style. I'd rather him bombing than boots on the ground. Boots on the ground would be a disaster. Him bombing and then calling up Iran and say, hey, ready to make a deal, this and that, that's different. But again, Trump, I prefer him bombing than putting boots on the ground. So that's where I stand on that. All right, man. Let me get to work, y'all. Let me get to work. Let me get to work. Let me get to work. All right, I'll talk to you later, man. With that being said, I'm out, y'all. Peace.